Now, yesterday's On the Money asked if the Queen's speech proposals contained anything to help countless UK households struggling to make ends meet, as this cost of living crisis intensifies. It turned out the answer was no, which is why ministers are now doing a patch-up job, frantically arguing that more help is on the way, but it's probably going to be delayed until household utility bills rise again in October. Well, let's ask another question then. Did the Queen's speech contain any policies that might help to fix our broken housing market? Given the unaffordability of housing to rent or to buy, another issue affecting millions of us across Britain. Campaigners concerned about social housing, subsidised permanent accommodation rented from councils or housing associations, they're largely pleased at what they heard yesterday. After all, the Prince of Wales read the government's pledge to, quote, improve the regulation of social housing, strengthen the rights of tenants and ensure better quality, safer homes. There was no promise, though, to unlock a new era of social housing, reversing several decades when very few such homes have been built, a cause that Housing Secretary Michael Gove has promoted recently. Many have argued lots of new social housing is an important part of levelling up the UK, not least across those red wall seats the Tories need to retain to stay in power. There was good news for UK private sector renters, now a fifth of all households, a share which has doubled over the last 20 years as buying a home has become so much less affordable. A new renters reform bill was highlighted in the Queen's speech to abolish no-fault evictions and make it easier for tenants to check if their landlord is decent. The problem remains that the UK is still suffering from a chronic shortage of all forms of residential property. Back in the 50s, 60s and 70s, more than 2 or even 3 million homes were built each decade. But from the 80s onwards, house building has plummeted to less than half that amount, even though the population has continued to grow. And that's one of the underlying causes of our sky-high house prices for those looking to rent or buy their own homes. The fact that we're not building nearly enough new properties. The same goes for our massive council house waiting list, now more than 1 million strong, low-income and otherwise vulnerable households on that waiting list. Again, we need to build more, and there was little about that in the Queen's speech. And so that's our vital on-the-money question today. Will these Queen's speech proposals fix the UK's broken housing market?